We just bought a 2013 Mercedes Sprinter 170 wheelbase with 130,000 miles on it. We're going to try to convert it into a stealth van or a camper van. Right now we're starting with installing insulation and rattle traps. Before we get started on installing the insulation, we want to prepare the walls by installing rattle trap, which you can see on the right hand side of the screen we already have put up on some of the walls. This will help your van stay more quiet as you're driving down the road. Rattle trap goes for about $130 per 50 feet on Amazon and eBay, so definitely take that into consideration while figuring out the budget for your build. We're going to start off this side by applying rattle trap, which should help to keep the noise down once we get driving. Let's see. You can use a roller to make sure that you don't get any air bubbles trapped in there. Seems to be good enough. It's nice and hard to ensure it adheres properly. Then we continue with the last strip. Some of the rattle trap comes pre-installed from the factory, which you can see right up here, and there's some on the ceiling as well. It's always good to get these sides done. So that way you don't have all that crazy noise as you drive around, especially on bumpy country roads. This is done. Okay, Ray, can you tell me what you're doing?
I am doing a template for that we did there.
Okay, for the insulation. And you're installing 1 inch with half an inch on the top?
I'm thinking that I'm going to do it a little tighter by doing a template. You see it?
Okay.
That looks pretty good, right?
It does, yeah. I think you got the template.
We'll cut it off.
Okay, so we have most of the rattle trap installed already. The next step is doing the insulation, which is half an inch. Is it 1 inch insulation?
It's 1 inch and then a half inch on top.
Then we will fill in the gaps with what do you call that thing? The expandable foam?
Yeah.
For up to 1 inch gaps. Okay, so Ray just used a template to cut out a new piece of insulation for the side wall. You can use any type of craft paper, I think. What did we get? Rosin paper, or whatever you call it.
Rosin.
Rosin paper from Home Depot.
Yep.
So we're going to see how well it fits in there.
Like that. That is good. The top.
Yeah, I think you might want to shave it off a little bit.
Yeah, let me do this first.
Okay.
Bring it back.
Let's go get it adjusted. Here we had to go to the garage to shave off some foam to adjust the fit of the piece, and then use that piece as a template for the half-inch foam.
So after doing the template and coming back and cutting again, I finally got the right dimension. So when I take this one that's right, and I do my second layer, which is a half inch.
Okay.
So I want to put the half inch with the reflective to the front, so I got to make sure when I trace it that I have the right side, which I believe is like this. this like this, right?
Yep. Oops, don't lose it.
So I'll put it like that. When I sandwich it, this is the top.
Okay, perfect. So we have 2 layers of insulation,
Which adds up to
1
1.5.
inch and a ½ inch insulation. What's the R rating on it? The ½ inch is an R value of 3.3,
There's a
and
big one over there. We're gonna look at
the 1 inch was a little bit more.
It says it over down the other one.
Let's see. Then that's 6.5. So we're ending up with what, 9.8, I think, total, which should be enough.
Well, that's what everybody's doing. So.
Yeah.
I'm right-handed, so let me go on this side.
Okay, perfect. Now let's start cutting.
This one cuts easier because I
Yeah.
don't have to.
Oh yeah, yeah. Because the 1 inch you have to kind of break off, right?
Yeah, it's just more deeper. You have to cut. I'm gonna change this blade. This one I'm gonna just do it rough since I'm gonna cut it.
So basically just cut out a square and then you shape it
What
to
I'll do, the smaller cavities,
shape
I'll
it to
use
where you
this
want it.
Smaller cavity.
Okay, now we're going to
This one fits this side, right? Can you hold it?
this fine. Okay. I guess followed by this one.
Yeah.
Yep.
And the same on the gaps. And just put out
So the insulation gets attached with spray adhesive. We got high strength contact adhesive.
Can you put this on?
Let's see.
Make sure to wear a respirator because this stuff really stinks. But I'm not wearing one. Just wearing everyone.
Okay, so the foam, you want to put the reflector's going to go on the outside, and you're going to stick to this.
Okay.
So that's where I want to put the spray.
So you don't have to spray the rattle trap
No,
with
it's not
the
going to
glue.
touch that.
Okay.
It's going to touch most likely all around. So I'm going to do this.
Okay. Just make sure you shake it.
See how it sticks and makes like a little
Uh-huh.
thing. Then I'll put on the
Now
top of
it
this.
says to let it rest for a couple of minutes until it gets tacky.
So what I'm going to do, I'm going to put on where it's going to go, right?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Does it stick?
No, actually, I was expecting it to smell a little bit worse, but it's not bad. Do you want to do that one after we get this one in place, or?
Like that could dry.
Okay.
Look at the way it comes out.
I think the nozzle has different settings that you could select
Yeah,
as well.
I could go the long way. Okay, so that's going to do.
Yeah, let's put that to the side.
That should be ready.
Yeah.
So that's it there.
Get this. This. Looks fine to me.
Let's get this stuff away so I can do. It's pretty good. This stuff is good. Ready?
Yeah. Can I get some?
Oh, you want to do it? Yeah. And then I'm going to get this ready.
Now that the glue had had a chance to dry, we are gluing the two foam boards together to create a single 1.5 inch thick piece of insulation. To make sure that the foam doesn't fall off as it dries, we will be pressing it against the wall with some plywood cut-offs that we had laying around the garage and leave it overnight. Okay. Okay. I have a good amount of pressure on this side.
What this side? This good?
I think it should be fine, right? Okay.
So what I did, I took the same template from the other window, and it's a smaller cavity, but I'm going to use the same template, just cut it.
Okay, so that side is going to need a lot of trimming.
Yeah. It could be 1.5 inches, but over here is maybe a 1 inch. If you can zoom in on that, you'll see that it's way.
Okay, let's see.
Yeah.
Can we zoom in? Yes, we can.
Look, you see how little bit, like maybe a 1 inch, and over here is 2 inches or 1.5 inches. So we're just gonna go with just leaving it like that.
Okay, so towards the back of the van it gets
Right
more
here,
shallow.
you know, we can live with it. It only being maybe not even a 1/2 inch. 70.5. And just, you cut it?
Yeah, I'll go cut it. 70.5.
Let me give you both. Hold on.
Yeah,
Be
the
patient with the saw. It's old, and this one's 71.5 inches.
The first cut was 70.5. It's right here. And the second cut is 71.5. Measure it out. 71. Okay, so the insulation for the side walls is all done. Now we just have to let it dry. It's a little difficult to move around here with all the wood in the way.
Do you have to shake this can, Damien?
Yes you do. You always have to shake the cans. Okay. So now we're going to fill in the gaps with expanding foam. Let me see what you're using.
The gap and cracks.
Filler up to 1 inch gaps. And remember, a little goes a long way, so you don't want to spray a lot because it
Somebody
does
said
expand.
that if they're too cold, they don't work right, and that's so far I'm seeing that that's the problem. And they returned them at Home Depot. Yeah, it's not working. Too cold. Man, this is crazy. Not working.
Okay, so it looks like I was mistaken. You do not shake the cans. Remember, a little goes a long way.
So that means you want me to do like this, right?
Yeah, because it's supposed to expand a lot. See? This little goes a long way. It could be a little messy. If you do get this on the floor, don't try to wipe it up right away. It will it will smear all over the place. Just let it dry out. Once it's dry, It's very easy to pick off. We are done with insulating the sides of the van, and we just have to wait for the foam to dry completely before shaving it down. Next week, we'll be running the wiring, so stay tuned. And this is our first video, so excuse the editing. Don't forget to hit like and leave us any comments you might have. See you next week.